Well, we all have so many moving parts in our lives and in the lives of those we love and care about. It's important to stay strong while you navigate your daily course. Joining us with more on her insights about this very topic is our great friend of the show, creator of Mom's Mentoring Circle. There she is, joining us live today by Zoom, Deborah Porter. It's great to see you, Deborah.
Great to see you, Jess. How are you?
I'm super duper. At this moment, I don't always get to answer that way, but that's kind of one of the big steps in the time we're living in right now. Let's tune into those feelings and maybe help channel this feeling of strong, right? How are you doing?
Doing great. It's a beautiful sunny day. It's going to be nice and warm. So for me, it doesn't get much better than today.
That's right. That's right. Well, you've got some great insight for us, Deborah, and we're excited to talk with you today live on the show. This is a big deal for us as this plan continues to evolve. So let's dive right in and talk about Strong. This is an acronym.
It is. And, things are beginning to open back up. Travel is going to be opening back up. And so there are a few things, especially as moms, that we want to remember to do to stay strong. And the first thing is simplify. I think one thing that we learned in 2020 was that we have too much and we do too much. So
Mm.
pick three areas that you can really simplify, you can pare down. I was looking in my kitchen cabinet not long ago. We had 36 mugs. There's two of us
Mm.
in the house. We don't need 36 mugs. So find an area that you can just pare down. Even on my phone, I've got apps that I have not used in some of them in years. What three apps can you just delete from your phone? And then the other thing to think about is what notifications can I turn off on my phone? These phones are always dinging and binging and reminding us one thing or another. How about we reduce some of those notifications so that we have more time that's uninterrupted and we're able to do more by multitasking less?
Yeah, simplify. It makes sense. And great, easy, bite-sized pieces to take a few of those first steps. Clean out the mugs and see what a difference that makes. Turn off some of those notifications. I started deleting, you know how you end up on all those email lists. Same thing. Started deleting those just so it's not taking away from focus. So that makes sense. Simplify.
Exactly.
All right.
Exactly. And then T is time track. And this is one that I don't think that we think about for us. We often think about it for our children and how much time they're spending on social media or playing video games. But I think we need to be thinking about this for us as well. And most smartphones will do this in some way or another. Rescue Time is another app you can download to help you with that. They suggest that most people generally spend somewhere between 3.5 to 4.5 hours on their phone. So
Oof.
this is not to say that I know, right?
Mm-hmm.
This is not to say that that's where you should be because some of us work on our phones. And so we're on our phones a lot more. But here's the thing, you can't change what you don't acknowledge. So it's important to at least get an idea. And Rescue Time will even break down for you where you're spending that time. How much of it is social media? How much of it is maybe internet searches? But it's a great way to just get an idea. And it might scare you a little bit when you first look at it. When I first looked at it, I was like, yikes, that's a lot. But
Mm-hmm.
it's important to know.
Well, you're spot on. You can't change it if you don't acknowledge it. And if you're completely unaware or very surprised when your time track reveals that you are dedicating that chunk of time to that area, it's that's a good change to make, and it helps to just be aware. So ST, and now I like this next one quite a bit.
R is reduce stress. Listen, there are so many different ways to be stressed right now. And the other thing about stress is it impacts not just in the moment, but it impacts us spirit, mind, and our physical body. And so the idea of being able to reduce stress is important. And one important way to do that, especially as moms, is not taking on everyone's problems. We have a tendency to take on the weight of the world, especially our immediate world, especially with our children, whether they're small or whether they're adult children. And so it's important to minimize your stress by not taking on the problems of others, and also to find ways to reduce stress, whether it's through meditation, through exercise, through prayer, journaling, but really being able to identify what stresses me out and what am I going to put in place to help reduce that stress.
Deborah, we have about 2 minutes left, but if we're looking at ways to reduce the stress, do you have an easy tip like cleaning out the mug cabinet to not take on those stressors? Because I'm curious, it's one thing to say, I'm not going to do it, but it's a big change to not take those things on.
It is. And one thing I will say that works very well is start journaling, because what journaling does is it gives you a place to put those feelings. And
Mhm.
so they're not just swirling around in your head, but you're actually, I call it a brain dump. And so just do that brain dump, just kind of dump all those feelings and those emotions into that journal. It gives them somewhere to be other than swirling around in you.
Great, great, great suggestion. It also gives them somewhere to go rather than me passing them on to my partner and then troubling that individual with those stressors. So I'm definitely going to start writing those down. Okay, S.T.R.O.
O is organize your space. This is a big one. Clutter has a way of signaling our brain that we're not done, that there's more to do. You can't sit down. And so pick one area, and that becomes difficult. For me, it's my kitchen counter. I don't like junk mail. I don't like keys, baseball caps, all of that on my counter. Pick one area, organize that space, and it will kind of settle you down as far as the running list of to-dos that goes on in our brain often.
Okay, I've got a lot of those areas that I could practice with. So, so we'll definitely get into that. And we're getting close to the end.
And N is my favorite. I have this sign in my office. No is a complete sentence. Listen,
Mm,
I feel like we don't say no enough because we don't want people mad at us. We want to be liked. We want to be seen as a team player. But here's the deal. You're one person. You can only do so much. And if you're saying yes to everything, when the right thing comes along for you to say yes to, most times you're already tapped out. So exercise your right to say no without explaining why. You know, we want to say, well, my dog is sick and I wish I could. Just, I'm unable to help this time. That's it.
yeah. It's completely liberating. And it's so challenging because we see so much. There's a movie right now, Yes Day, right? And we hear about the book where the year of saying yes. Well, maybe try it with no and then see the impact that it makes there. Okay, S.T.R.O.N.G.
G, guard your personal time. Listen, if you're not going to guard it, who will? And we have a habit as moms, especially, where we'll say, well, when I find time, or when the kids go to grandma's, listen, time is not sitting around waiting to be found. You and your partner get your calendars together and you set aside time for you. I've done this since I was, a young mother. Every couple of months or so, I would take 2 or 3 days by myself and I would do a staycation, not too far from home, but far enough that no one was with me. It's
Mm.
moments like that that allow you to pour back into yourself. And I would tell my husband, I promise you, I will be a better wife and mother when I return. I just need like 48 hours eating my own food without having to cut up other people's food and without being pulled on. And it's important. It's important to do. We don't see it as important, but once you
Yeah.
get in the habit of doing that, it's very important.
Yeah, and I giggle because I'm thinking, what do you mean? Isn't that fun cutting up someone else's food all the time? It just, yeah, I completely understand it. And guard that me time, guarding your own time makes such a difference. It really does. So great ways to stay strong anytime, but especially now as we focus on needing to build that up.
Yeah, indeed. We've gotten this far, we just got to hang in there a little bit longer, and life will return to some sense of normal. We have yet to see what that really means.
That's right. That's right. Well, great ways. And Deborah, you always share such easy, approachable, and sensible ways to wrap our arms around things. So thank you so much for being with us always, and especially today. What an adventure having us live.
I love it. Thank you so much.
Our pleasure. For more information on staying strong and more from Deborah's Mom's Mentoring Circle, we'll post a link on our website later today, WTDR.com/VTM. The Ride on Cannon Foundation presents an Easter egg hunt. We'll share all the details in just about 3 minutes.